Either you're with us or against us is manipulative language used to excuse shitty behavior. Phrases like, either you're with us or against us, silence equals violence, love it or leave it, and etc. are manipulative language to force people to side with you without doing the work to give your movement or mission broader appeal. For example, what the terrorists did on September 11 was obviously horrible, but invading Iraq was awful too. Two wrongs don't make a right, and it's not fair to say people support terrorists if they are against invading Iraq. Basically, this abusive language boils down to, some woman was shitty to me, therefore I feel justified in acting shitty too, and if you don't support my shittiness, you support theirs. Toxic. Apathy is a perfectly acceptable response to both sides being assholes. Edit, please don't give me Reddit award/gold, it's wasted on me. Instead, if you feel so inclined, and are in the US, show your appreciation by shopping at local black-owned businesses, for multiple reasons, a lot of them are really struggling ATM. Or waiting until you have more information before jumping on a bandwagon because the media/society tell you should. It isn't necessarily apathy to lack an immediate view on a topic, but not jumping to extreme black and white thinking, which in my opinion is lazy. In my experience, the truth tends to be somewhere in the middle. All or nothing people tend to lack the ability to think beyond surface emotions. It's a tactic used by many religious sects. Exactly, it's the same type of groupthink where you are either for X or against X. And if you are against X, then you are against everything and everyone associated with it. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Edit, yes I know the comma isn't right. I think it's a dumbed down version of you can't be neutral on a moving train. That theory is profound in its own, but has been exploited and reduced to the simplicity of you're either with us or against us, which overlooks the complexities of the argument and essentially puts people against each other. It's a trope even used by villains in movies LOL. To piggyback on this idea, if you don't agree with me, don't talk to me is something I've been seeing a lot recently and is so dangerous. You know who controls movements? The people willing to figure out their opposition and try to change their minds. The people who have empathy for things like how someone was raised and who they are surrounded by. This mentality is so isolating and pretty much ensures that your movement will never grow. It's exhausting talking to people who don't agree with me. Well, radically changing society is hard work. If someone is willing to talk to you or asking you questions, to shame them and then deny them answers is lazy and will hurt your movement in the long run. If you're not with me, then you're my enemy. Yep, Reddit is like the culmination of such mentality, worse even because here popular opinion dictates truth, and facts be damned lol. I find it sadly comical that many of the same segments who pushed the anti-bullying fad are the same ones pushing the silence is violence intimidation tactic. They don't want vocal debate, they're demanding allegiance through fear of racism accusations. How anyone sees intimidation as an acceptable form of protest is beyond me. Then I guess I'll be against you. Yes and no. Some situations there is no middle ground. Like genocide vs no genocide. The middle ground is allowing some genocide, which in the end is basically the same as allowing genocide. And if you say, oh I need time to think about it, that's valid. I don't think that's relevant to this question though. If you don't know then you don't know. If this is unpopular I'll eat a dick. Just rename this sub to r/opinions at this point. Best response is I'm against both sides, because I'm with neither, therefore go fuck off. Every damn time I go to Windhelm that stupid assistant to Ulfric Stormcloak says this shit and it makes me wanna stab them every time. So like, Reddit in general. Anakin Skywalker and Injustice Superman both downvoted this. It manipulates me to be mad at your grammar. This sort of thing is a false dichotomy and like you said, it is very nasty to invoke. It's not being against you, it's minding my own fucking business. Most of the world doesn't work in black and white. More of a gray scale. Funny. That's what I've been hearing from Biden supporters. I say fuck both supporters. But the one I've heard from Biden supporters is a vote that isn't for Biden might as well be for Trump, and you are a horrible person if you vote anything other than Biden. Like I said, they can fuck off. But what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? It's called the black and white fallacy. You hit the nail on the head. Who here remembers what the Dixie Chicks said about invading Iraq? LOL. It's also what people with childlike mentalities say. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Your star. It's classic Orwellian doublethink. Not unpopular at all. It's just impossible to tell people's there's gray when all they see is black and white. I strongly disagree. There are a ton of situations where apathy is unacceptable and straight up harmful. Take climate change for instance. We're at a precipice where we can choose to address climate change, or we can just accept that the age of humans is over because we've killed ourselves. In the respect of wanting human life to continue for another 1,000 years, we have to take climate change very seriously. Apathy in the face of climate change is the same as saying I'm okay with the destruction of all human life, and that is not okay. Take police brutality as another example. Incarceration rates. The extreme transfer of wealth from the poor and middle class to the elite. The blatant corruption in our government. Etc. 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 There's a million topics that are actively harmful to not pick a side on. Those topics all have a right and a wrong side. You can either be on the right side of history, or you can support the murder of innocent people. Apathy is supporting murder. If you don't know, then that's cool. Learn more, take your time, but be active about it. Don't just sit on your hands and cry at the table because you don't know what to believe. You're an adult, and you should act like one. That's politics now. If membership in a group requires you to unquestioningly accept everything the group does, it's a shitty group. Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I agree. Legitimately saw someone on their Snapchat story have a long freaking rant about politics using this logic. She said all of this crap against Joe Biden and how he wasn't a good person, but then proceeds to say that we need to vote for him anyways because he's not Trump, and that anyone who doesn't vote or decides to vote for a third-party candidate is against us and therefore a Trump supporter. You're confusing two different things here. Apathy can be fine depending on what you're talking about, but your Iraq example is terrible. America falsified evidence, lied, and waged an illegal war against a country that had nothing at all to do with 9/11, leading to millions of deaths and regional instability. And a lot of America supported that war despite many countries and prominent figures advocating against it. Being apathetic as an American citizen absolutely is complicity in that instance. Those are your elected officials. That is your responsibility. You don't get to play the apathy card when your country decides to play invader while millions of its citizens support it due to wanting Muslim blood because apparently all brown people are the same.